Yo, what's good, my fellow Magic Knights? It is your boy DEADMANVINCE back with yet another JJK Phantom Parade video. We're going to be talking about today some of the SSR characters that you should be looking out for in the future, who you should be saving your stones for right now, because a lot of people may have already summoned and gotten the characters that they wanted, and you might just be summoning at this point just because you're like, oh, it doesn't hurt to have extra dupes, but you know, it might hurt to have those extra dupes if those extra dupes mean you're not going to have the cubes that you need to summon SSR characters in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and just go through all the characters that I'm personally going to be looking out for, and you guys can, you know, do whatever you want with this information. Either you save for the characters or you don't. That's really as simple as it gets, but we're going to just start off with the first one. So this actually is not a summonable character. This is actually a character that's in the game right now, and this is Hanami. She is free to play. You can actually beat, if you get all the way through the story mode, you unlock like these raid missions, and you can beat the raid missions and collect these coins and buy Hanami, and you can get the coins from a lot of various other events throughout the game. But basically, you have access to Hanami. I look, you have the game open already, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go over to the exchange and just show y'all where Hanami is real quick. So she's down here actually, right here, already in the game. I actually have some of these because I've been doing the special boss event, the Homesick Horizon. That's why those events are really important, because even stuff that you think you can't necessarily get to at the moment, this will give you these medals right here, and you can start working on trying to get these two characters. Also, it shows you right here, if you press domain investigation, it takes you here where you can do this, and you can also get this is the domain investigation, or no, it's not, but you get those coins from domain investigation for beating it all the way through, I believe. I think you get these coins for just going through and doing it in general, even if you don't win all the levels. But I think that the other ones you get from beating it all the way through. I could be incorrect because I have not beaten this on the global version yet. It's been a while since I've done this on the JP version. But why is Hanami good? So Hanami is a debuffer. She has a domain, which I'm gonna be real with you, I don't personally know what having a domain really means. I think it guarantees like a sure hit effect and everything, and I guess I'll look at the post adjustment, because if she's been adjusted, that means that either on global she's already at the adjusted state, or she'll probably get adjusted as well in global, because it wouldn't be fair to not leave her adjusted. But her skill 1 is a ranged jujutsu damage attack. That's not really what the crazy part is. The higher the enemy's ultimate skill count, the greater the damage. Okay, so she scales her damage off of the enemy's ultimate skill count. Okay, she does more jujutsu damage. That's not really the important part. The important part is decreases all enemies damage by 19.8%, and increases own skill gauge charge rate by 50%. And then if you use her ultimate, grants guaranteed hit effect and attack immunity nullification itself, decreases all enemies damage by 16.9%, and she deals 462 damage to Jujutsu to all enemies. So she is an AoE here. She has her domain. She can continually lower the enemy's damage with her skill 3, and with how much does this cost? 35% energy. So that's not too bad. And then her ultimate as well. And then let's see, her combo ultimate effect increases own and combo allies break damage by 8% for 2 turns, and then deals 33% range Jujutsu damage to all enemies. So AoE. Her auto skills are, at the start of battle, recovers 13% HP every turn. So she has self-sustain as well, which is very good. And then at the start of each turn, if cursed energy is 10 or below, recovers own cursed energy by 20 up to 2 times during battle. At the start of battle, reduces own damage received by 20%. So low-key, Hanami's kind of crazy just because she gives herself a lot of self-sustainability. You're having regeneration every turn that comes back around to her. She has the damage reduction for the first turn just to make sure she's not getting one-tapped immediately, giving yourself extra cursed energy just in case you don't have enough to do what you need to do. And she's also putting that decrease all enemies damage on 2 different skills. So Hanami seems pretty solid, and honestly, like I said, this is kind of like a caveat asterisk type of thing, because she's not a character that you can summon for. She's a free-to-play character. But even still, this is not a video on characters that you should. Does the thumbnail say who you should save for? Because it definitely should just say future. So I mean, technically no, this does work, because to get Hanami, you literally have to save these coins right here. What are these called? Phantom medals. You have to save phantom medals. So technically that still counts. We're on to the next character. Now guys, the rest of these characters are, and honestly Hanami as well, all of these characters are in chronological order from their release dates. So next up we have, oh, Mahito. This Mahito, the only reason why I think this Mahito is cool is I think that this Mahito has a instant kill ultimate or something like that. Let's see. If the enemy doesn't have weakness to green, changes the skill effect to Oh, so if he's attacking somebody who's not weak to green, he makes them weak to green. That's interesting. And if his domain is active, depending on own jujutsu and enemy's remaining HP, instantly kill the enemy. Ooh, so when you're in his domain, you have insta kill basically, just because you know, idle transfiguration can literally like mutate your soul and you're instantly done. Mahito can literally kill you on impact, on touch, right? So literally it makes sense that he goes into his domain and then all of a sudden you just getting instantly killed. So I want to test Mahito out for that purpose. What is the damage whenever it's getting 10%? And there's not a percent chance to the instant kill. It just says high chance. So even if you get to level 10, it's still going to be a high chance. That's maybe one thing that's not too great about it, is the fact that you cannot increase the effectiveness of the instant kill. Skill 2 grants miniaturization status to self on one turn, fills an ultimate gauge by 270. While the domain is active, changes the skill effect to deals 224 melee, deals 224 taijutsu damage as a type that the selected enemy has a weakness to. So he always just goes type advantage, increases the selected enemy's taijutsu damage received by 20%, depending on jujutsu. Depending on jujutsu, kill the enemy instantly. So his skill 2 goes from because that's a dodge, I'm pretty sure. Goes from like a dodge, or that's supposed to be like a evade type of thing. Goes from a dodge to an attack, and it has a chance to evade single targets. There we go. And it has the chance to instant kill. Let's see. This one also has a chance to instantly kill. What the hell, bro? So this man, once he activates his domain, can instantly kill on anything, basically. Possibly. Deals damage equal to 15% of all enemies' HP. Grants guaranteed hit effect and attacks. Immunity nullification to self. Decreases own damage received by 20.1%. Unable to fill on ultimate skill gauge while you're in domain, of course. Depending on own jujutsu, an enemy instantly kill the enemy. So yeah, Mahito just has instant kills, huh? His 2 skills are, at the start of turn, if own HP is 70% or below, and own cursed energy is 40 or above, recovers HP by 8%. The lower the HP, the greater the HP recovery, up to 16. Inflicts damage cut to self, decreases own damage received by 12%. The higher the own cursed energy is, the greater the damage received is, up to 24%. Okay. And that's his only skill? There's no extra skill behind it? Okay. Increases own and combo allies jujutsu damage by 10% for 4 turns, and that's whatever. Deals 200% range jujutsu damage to all enemies. Okay, so Mahito, it seems like, is just cracked as shit, because once you pop that domain, so if you have somebody to rush his ultimate, you could be instant killing anywhere, possibly. That's really cool, actually. I like that. And I didn't get Mahito on the Japanese version. Is he a free-to-play, or does he come out on a banner? Because I don't know if he was a summonable character. Does it tell you how to get him? No, it does not. That's okay. We'll go to the next character, which I think is Yuta. Yes, it is Yuta. So, guys, Yuta came out after Mahito. Yuta is a DPS, but the reason why he's so crazy is because he's a DPS, but he also has healing. So, right here, I'm not even looking at his damage just yet. At the start of each turn, if an ally's HP is 60 or below and own cursed energy is 10 or above, so it has to be those 2 things. Cursed energy 10 or above and allies below 60%. But even still, recovers all allies' HP by 25%. Excludes self, deals low damage to cursed spirits, decreases own cursed energy by 10%. Increases own taijutsu by 10%. Increases own jujutsu by 10%. Fills own ultimate gauge by 200 up to 3 times during battle. That's an auto skill. Then Rika is his other auto skill, don't believe to. When targeted by an enemy's melee attack, certain chance to deal 120% melee damage to the enemy. So not only is he healing everybody, but apparently he also has like a pseudo counter from Rika built into his kit. So that's really cool. If he does a combo ultimate, increases his and his own he increases his and his allies' combo damage by 10%, which is cool, because it's before I've been seeing boost allies jujutsu or taijutsu. This is like an all damage thing. So it's jujutsu and taijutsu, because you notice like his jujutsu and taijutsu both boost up equally, right? In exchange for his cursed energy. So it looks like he's buffing both. Let's see. Skill 1, melee, 120% to a single enemy. Skill 2, 90% jujutsu to all enemies. Decreases all enemies' critical hit resistance by 15%. If you get it maxed out, it's still just 15%. Unfortunate. Depending on Jujutsu, so it might instantly. Oh, it might instantly kill the enemy because I'm pretty sure with this he says die, and if his Jujutsu is higher than their HP, I guess he just instant kills with that. So he has a chance to instant kill. Crazy stuff. Skill 3. Deals combined damage equal to 80% Taijutsu, 110% Jujutsu, 100% Taijutsu, and 150 Taijutsu to the selected enemy. What? So it multiplies. It's like it's giving you Yuta stats, and then Rika stats, and then adding them together, and that's how you hit. That's kind of overpowered, because bro, that's 4 different places that this damage is scaling on this skill. Is this an AoE? Selected enemy. So that's a single. This one is an AoE. This one is a single. His ultimate is an AoE. Deals 1000% range Jujutsu damage to all enemies. Increases on Taijutsu by 20%, Jujutsu by 20%. Unable to fill ultimate move gauge for 4 turns. Yikes. If you max it out, it's basically 2000% of his Jujutsu damage, and he still gets the same buff. I wish the buffs would increase a little more whenever. I wish the buffs would increase on the ultimate when you level it up. Or maybe they stopped doing that because it's a newer character and they realized how cracked he was. But yeah, Yuta, definitely, I didn't get Yuta on my Japanese account, and I highly regretted it. That may have been one of the other like things that made me stop playing, because I was like, damn, I want Yuta, man. And I had to use him as a friend a lot, and using him as a friend kind of just reminds you that you don't have the character, and you're just like, damn, dude. It'd be nice if I had him for heals, because obviously content gets harder and heals are great, but having just a straight up healer isn't 100% the best all the time, because while you do have a healer who can heal everybody, you are also missing out on extra damage that could be done whenever the healer is taking a turn. But with Yuta, you can continue to do damage, and if the conditions are right, which I imagine they typically would be if you have buffers and your team's like decently built out, I feel like that heal should be coming a lot more frequent than people are thinking. So Yuta, definitely somebody I'm saving for. Definitely somebody that I absolutely want to get on my account. Next up, Geto. So Geto is kind of an asterisk, because I know he's an attacker? Huh. I thought he was like the best debuffer, huh? So when it comes to Geto, I'm not sure, because I'm just like, yo, I have Gojo already, and everybody's gonna expend so many materials working on Gojo that Gojo is going to be incredible. Let's see. At the start of each turn, recovers his own cursed energy by 20. That's kind of impressive. Skill 1. Deals 120% melee Jujutsu to a single enemy. The higher his cursed energy is, the greater the critical hit rate boost. So the higher his curse rate, the higher his crit rate. I like this game a lot, because there are so many little different intricacies on everybody's kit, and it's a little different for every person, I feel like. So let me read that again. Let me see level 10. 180 Taijutsu damage to a selected enemy, and then the higher his own cursed energy is, the greater the critical hit rate boost. And by cursed energy, I don't think they mean, yeah, because if they were talking about Jujutsu, they would say Jujutsu. It's talking about the actual cursed energy he has in his meter at the moment. So I guess the higher his cursed energy is, the higher his crit damage is. Skill 2, Cursed Spirit Manipulation 1. At level 10, deals 270% range Jujutsu damage to selected enemy. If own cursed energy is 30 or above, decreases the selected enemy's Taijutsu by 33%. And then if own energy is 40 or above, increases the selected enemy's Jujutsu damage received by 33%. So basically, just spam his skill 1 for a little bit, stack them up to 30 or 40 cursed energy. That way you're reducing the enemy's damage that they're doing to you, you're reducing their defenses from your damage, and then you're doing really crazy damage. Okay, because I feel like I heard people saying that he was a debuffer at first, but it looks like he's not necessarily a debuffer. He has one debuff skill that just works really, really well. Or maybe I just misheard that he was a debuffer. That could also be true. His skill 3, Cursed Spirit Manipulation 2, is going to be deals 120% 0.4 range Jujutsu damage to all enemies. So it's an AoE on his skill 3. Okay damage modifier. Greater the damage boost, the greater his cursed energy is. So right here, it was the greater the curse. So right here is the greater the cursed energy, the greater the damage boost. Right here is the greater the cursed energy, the greater the critical hit rate boost. This is what I'm talking about, man. There are so many different little intricate pieces to every character's kit that, like, they can do a lot of unique stuff, and I love it. Honestly, I love it. Let's see. And also, guys, I know people may not like this, but I like that there's not a gear system, because gear can be hit or miss. And if your gear system's really good, then it's really good. If your gear system's really dog shit, Black Clover Mobile, then it's a real big miss. Because it's just like, what's the point of me working on this if there's no definite way that I can get, like, the best thing for myself? You know, there's always going to be something that is going to be lacking on somewhere in that shit. But no gear here, just working on the character straight up. I don't hate it. I don't knock it. It's a little basic, but I don't care, man. I'm down for it. As long as the character's good, the game is good. See, these guys took away super intricate, crazy, stupid, kind of unnecessary character growth things, and just decided to make all that effort go towards content. Wow, look at what happens when a company actually thinks, let's give players content to play. Look at that. Imagine a world, right? Okay, level 10 on his ultimate. Deals 329.6% range Jujutsu damage to all enemies, so another AoE, good stuff. This is Uzumaki, of course. The higher his own curse energy, the greater the damage boost, and then reduces his own curse energy to 0 when the ultimate is performed. That already happens, so... That already happens. Ultimate effect. Increases own and allies' damage by 10% for 2 turns, deals 100% range Jujutsu damage to all enemies. When defeating an enemy, recovers his own curse energy by 10. The more enemies defeated at once, the greater the curse energy recovery. Excludes certain cursed spirits and enemies. I'll be honest with you. This man was in the list because I had misheard the information on him, thinking that he was a debuffer. So I was expecting to hop into this with some debuffer skills, but obviously I just wasn't listening. So he seems solid though, but I don't think he justifies a summon, just because I'm reading what he can do, and it sounds like what he can do takes a bit of setup, but I don't know that all this setup and then getting the big damage out that I want, I don't know that it's going to equal up to how much benefit Blue Gojo gives me. And everybody is guaranteed going to have Blue Gojo. If you don't guarantee to have Blue Gojo, I can't even say that's okay. You are literally playing the game wrong. If you do not reroll for Blue Gojo at the start, playing the game wrong. There's nothing wrong with summoning for extra characters if you want to. There's nothing wrong if you want to be a sweat and go buy other characters. You can do that. But if you're not starting out with Gojo at the very least, because even if you say you started off, you got no bar from the redraw ticket, and then you're just, all right, cool, I got my no bar, I'll get Gojo eventually and then boost him up. No. Gojo is who you always want to be worked on the furthest and the most, because he only stays for 7 turns. So, since he only stays for 7 turns, you want to make sure, because he's going to be the strongest guy on your team, always. You want to make sure in those 7 turns that he is able to absolutely dominate the landscape of whatever mission you're in. If you're in a mission where you're doing 3 stages and you don't know that you can kill each stage in 1 turn because you don't have a bunch of AoE units, you're trying to make sure that Gojo is lined up the right way to swat enemies away and get you to the rooms properly, so that when you get to the last room, even if you have 1 turn, you can pop that ultimate and wipe everything out. Like, Gojo, priority. So you should have Gojo. That is not a discussion we are having right now. If you don't have Gojo, you are literally playing wrong. Go reroll right damn now and go get Gojo. But yeah, Geto, he seems solid. He seems good in my opinion. But like, I feel like Gojo is just a lot simpler to work out. Like, Gojo is literally just use skill 1 over and over again. And yes, it's a little brain dead, but Gojo is use skill 1 over and over again until you can use ultimate, and then just use skill 1 over and over again, basically, right? You can buff him up and stuff like that too. That won't hurt, but you know what I mean. Gojo is a lot easier to, you don't have to think with Gojo. It's swat, swat, swat. Yes. So, Geto, maybe I'm saving for him. Like I said, this one is asterisk. I didn't realize that he wasn't who I thought he was. He was an imposter. Which is, I can't say that because he's not an imposter, and he's not, that picture wasn't Kenjaku is what I'm trying to say. Okay, this is the first one that, or not the first one, but this is a character, or this is the first character that I completely just wasn't playing the game anymore, and I completely stopped playing the game for a bit, and I literally had no idea this character dropped or anything when he dropped. By the time he left, I still didn't know he dropped. Like, literally, I didn't figure out he dropped until I finally, like, decided to start doing content again, hopped on JJK one day, and just saw, like, who the hell is this Chimero Shadowguard and Fushiguro? Like, I had no idea about this guy. So everything that I'm about to read about him is gonna be new to me, but I will say yellow DPSs are very far and few between. You have Nobara and Nobara and Nobara, I think, and Nobara, right? Oh wait, there's Nobara. Yes, you have Nobara as a yellow DPSer until young Gojo comes out. And guys, y'all already don't be crazy. Y'all already know that every single Gojo that comes out summon for him. If the first Gojo is like, if I just said that you're playing the game wrong for not having like the first Gojo, you need that Gojo. Because you got to think, stages all have color advantages. We have a Gojo of every color in the Japanese version already. There's, except for red. There's no red Gojo, just blue, green, and yellow. So every version of Gojo you're going to want to get. But the next Gojo, the next Gojo that comes out is going to be green, and then the next one after that is going to be yellow, and the yellow one's going to come out way after, and that's going to be like Teen Gojo, right? But my whole point is, he's coming out a while after this. Unless they change the release schedule on Global, this Fushiguro should be out, because look, is this Fushiguro? Then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters between this, or 4 characters between this Fushiguro and that Gojo. So maybe this Fushiguro is not a bad choice. Let's take a look. He's an attacker. His curse technique and taijutsu. So his curse technique is going to outscale his taijutsu. You can tell just because the yes, it's only a 3-digit difference, but or 3-number difference, but it'll still scale higher if it already starts higher. At the start of each turn, and if your own curse energy is 15 or below, fill some of own ultimate skill gauge. Okay, like that. Giving himself that little ramp up. We need that. We need that. I'm going to read the skills at level 10 from now on, guys. Deals 180.4% melee or taijutsu damage to a selected enemy. If his domain is active, deals 300% taijutsu, so nearly double. He's missing 60% there. And increases the selected enemy's damage received by 99%. That's kind of wild, actually. Honestly, I think this Fushiguro, and I could be wrong, I could be inexperienced, because like I said, I've not used this dude. And I barely use Nobara. I just got Nobara on my account recently, so I'm just now using her for real. I've used a friend one, but like now I'm really getting into it. But it seems like domain characters are just gonna be always crazier than like their prior counterparts. Cause like if domain expansion in this game essentially gives you 2 skill sets in one on a single character, and it also gives you guaranteed hits, and it also gives you one more thing. What was the last thing? Or let me finish reading through this. Skill 2. Originally, it was 195.4% taijutsu to all enemies. Now with the domain, it is a combined 210 taijutsu, 210 jujutsu to all enemies. Bruh, think about the fact that this was scaling just off of taijutsu. Now it's scaling off of taijutsu and jujutsu, and even though the taijutsu is a higher percentage than this, deals 180.4% range jujutsu damage to all enemies. Guys, I don't want to sound like I don't want to jump the gun here, but already from what I've read from Hanami and Fushiguro, it sounds like domain characters are and Mahito, I'm sorry. It sounds like domain characters are low-key kind of a no-brainer, because they always got some crazy shit going on. Plus, another thing I like about domain characters is we do not have a form of like, obviously there's like limit break, but there's no form, there's a difference. There is limit break, which is pushing the character past the original levels that they're supposed to be at. And for instance, in Dragon Ball Z, that would be like hidden potential system, I would say, right? Because the characters are their base and super attack and stuff like that, right? But then you have like easy A's, where you go back and rework the entire kit. So there's additive character boosting, and then there's makeover character boosting, right? So with the domain, there's going to be a lot more makeover character boosting, because the domain is already a separate mechanic in itself. So already these characters are going to have the edge when they're getting boosted, because now you can add something else to their domain. Whereas every other character is going to be getting boosted on their skills and everything. Yeah, that's cool. These characters should be getting boosted on their skills, on their domain itself, on their domain skills. Like there's just a lot more to get buffed from domain. So I am a big fan of domain characters, even though I have not used one just yet, and I want to get my hands on one. Skill 3, Sudden Slash. Deals combined taijutsu 255.6, jujutsu 180 to the selected enemy. Increases the selected enemy's taijutsu damage received by 20% for 3 turns while domain is active. Whoa, that's a big jump. From 255 to 451 taijutsu from 180 to 225 Jujutsu. Deals 225 range Jujutsu damage to the enemy. So are these all like different? Is he hitting at different times? Like, is this one attack, and then when he's in his domain, this is like literally another part of the animation, the attack animation? Like, this is an extra attack within the animation? Because there's just an extra energy just thrown in there, extra damage thrown in there, and I'm just like, damn, bro, that's a lot of extra fucking damage. Increases the selected enemy's taijutsu damage received by 60%? From 20? Oh my gosh. And a 100% chance to stun? Yo, I gotta get this Fushiguro. I want this Fushiguro. I think he's gonna be replacing Nobara for me, but I'm still gonna put the work in on Nobara. I don't care. Level 10 on this skill. Let's see. Deals 1,614% range Jujutsu damage to a selected enemy, 4 hits. Stuns the selected enemy for 1 turn, guaranteed. Expands domain for 4 turns. While the domain is active, decreases all enemy damage by 35%, fire. Increases all enemies damage received by 45%, fire. Grants attack immunity to self, so he can't be hit. And then decreases own skills curse energy cost. And unable to fill own ultimate move gauge. So his skills get cheaper to do. You can see right here, because he goes from 25 to 20, 15 to 10. So yeah, domain seems super crazy. But this Fushiguro himself actually seems pretty good to me. Obviously, with the caveat that you get into his domain. But even still, I'm willing to put in the work and try it out. Next up, we have Yuji. This Yuji is actually like an asterisk, maybe. I remember when he first came out, Slug at Summon Form. Slug said he was good, but like, I know there are other red... Are there a lot of other red choices? Yuta. I can't recommend him 100% because yes, he is good. Yes, he's cool. But I don't think that he's going to completely replace Yuta for you. If you don't get Yuta, or maybe even... I have a homie who, no matter where you see Yuta, whether it be in JJK0, whether it be in Jujutsu Kaisen, just a regular continuity, like, no matter what, he is standing on the opinion that Yuta is an absolute bitch, that Yuta is an absolute fraud. We're not getting into it. This is my homie's opinion. But since that's my homie's opinion, if he played this game, I can guarantee you he would look at Yuta's kit and he'd still say, fuck Yuta. Nah, honestly, it's not even like me with the slime collab the first time with Rimuru, right? Because I didn't know who Rimuru was. So it wasn't even a fuck Rimuru. It was just like, I don't care. But like, he's gonna proactively be like, nah, I don't care how good Yuta is. Screw that, man, right? So say that you live in a sad world and you think Yuta's a fraud and you're not gonna summon for him, even though he is an insane character. That's perfectly fine. Then you can summon for this Yuji if you want. Because Yuji's a Chad. That's cool. But I will tell you, Yuta's probably better. Taijutsu damage straight up on a single enemy. What's this? Increases own crit. Increases all allies break damage. Not bad. But honestly, I'm usually just killing an enemy through the break anyway. It doesn't even matter if I break or not. Let's see. Melee Taijutsu damage. Increases on Taijutsu by 33. Fills on ultimate gauge by 160. And then you always do a black flash on the ultimate. I also need to figure out what black flashes do in this game. I imagine they give you, or maybe my characters have hit a black flash before. And I'm sorry, y'all. I don't want to fly through Yuji's kit, but I'm just like, I don't think he's as impressive as Yuta. So I'm just kind of like, I guess I'm kind of trying to influence you to lean towards the Yuta side of things. Because if you have Yuta over this Yuji, you're going to be having a much better time, is what I'm trying to say. Let's see his ultimate. Nearly 1500, basically 1500 taijutsu damage to a selected enemy. Increases the selected enemy's taijutsu damage received by 41.5%. He always has a black flash on that shit. His combo skill, he boosts him and his allies taijutsu by 20% one time for 3 turns. Then deals 100% taijutsu to a single enemy. At the start of battle, grants poison and soul resistance to self. I think this Yuji's kind of mid just because he does have the buff. He does have the buff for everybody, which is cool, I guess, but like, I would have preferred if everybody got the critical hit rate buff and then he just got the break damage buff, because like break doesn't... I'd rather just get straight up damage than break. I'm not worried about break in the bar. It helps, yes, but if your characters are strong enough to just rip through the enemy and kill the enemy, then you're not worried about break bars or anything. You're just literally swatting them away with Gojo, as you should be. Summon for Gojo on your first day. If you didn't do that, you're playing wrong. Anyway, Yeah, he has all single target skills, and they're all melee based. Which there's nothing wrong with them being melee based. That's cool, but I feel like there's gonna be a lot more outlets for cursed energy boosting and cursed energy characters and stuff like that than melee. So I always kind of have like a in my head when it comes to melee characters, because like, let's be real, the only true melee characters in this game are gonna be like Maki, Tojii, Yuji sometimes. Because you see this Yuji has no taijutsu at all. The other Yuji does have some taijutsu because he has Black Flash, he has Divergent Fist. Well, no, this one's Black Flash, but he has Divergent Fist. So there is some curse energy in that, but most of the time, and Toto could be a physical damage character too, because you know he fought he fought some grade 1 curses with just his like bare hands, and then when he had to fight a special grade, he used his curse technique. So I don't know that I can recommend this Yuji really. I just threw him in there like yo, if you don't get Yuta, maybe this is the guy that can help you out, but like, get Yuta please, just get Yuta. Next is Gojo. Alright guys, I just want to say, his art looks incredible, but also, there is something in JJK Phantom Parade known as the Gojo effect. What is the Gojo effect? Absolutely shattering, ripping apart, destroying everything that you look at, no matter what type it is, what level it is, what the CP is on the stage. None of that shit matters. It's that Gojo effect, bro. Gojo rips through anything. Let's see. So this Gojo also leaves after 7 turns, which sucks. When Black Flash is performed, he increases his own critical hit rate. Skill 1. 280% taijutsu damage to selected enemy. Has a great chance of doing a critical hit. Whatever, great. Actually, let me boost this up. There we go. 421.1. Decrease the selected enemy's taijutsu damage by 15%. Decrease the selected enemy's jujutsu damage by 15%. So this kind of sucks. I thought this Gojo left after he did his ultimate, but it seems after he does his ultimate or stays for 7 turns, he's out of here. So he's gonna probably be stronger than the other Gojo, but like at the same time, he's leaving sooner because you're getting his ultimate. You're getting his ultimate before 7 turns. You always get Gojo's ultimate before 7 turns. You would pretty much have to save his ultimate, sit on it for 7 turns. Let's see. Level 10. Increases the selected enemy's damage received by 30%. Not bad, actually. Increases the selected enemy's damage by 10%. Increases the selected enemy's damage by 10% for 1 turn. Disadvantage. So he's giving them extra damage? Increases his own damage by 70.1% for 2 turns. Skill 3. Let's start with you. Increases his own break by 100% for 1 time. 362% of Jujutsu damage to a selected enemy. Decreases the selected enemy's damage by 15%. Deals 2,000 range Jujutsu damage to all enemies. Decreases all enemies' ultimate count gauge by 2. Leaves the field. So this Gojo... I actually like this Gojo quite a bit because he's debuffing the enemies while he's attacking them, which does help you over time. He's also buffing himself while he attacks, which makes him hit even harder. And he also has Hollow Purple. Like, come on. Let's see. It sucks that he leaves after he does his ultimate, but like, low-key, if you just save his ultimate until turn 7 and then drop that shit, you kind of be chill. Increases own and combo allies critical hit rate by 40%. So him with Kaito would be pretty fire. Deals 100% Jujutsu damage to all enemies. Okay. At the start of battle, grants strategic retreat status to self for 7 turns. To self, 7 turns. So in 7 turns he leaves. Strategic retreat status. Once strategic retreat status expires, leaves the field. And then limitless technique. At the start of battle, grants attack immunity to self. Get green, Gojo. I mean, literally, Gojo is for a while going to be like the highest output. Think about the fact that in Jujutsu Kaisen, that's another really good thing about this game. They are very true to show, I feel like. In Jujutsu Kaisen, Gojo was the main or only heavy hitter for a while until everybody really started like locking in and training really fucking hard. Once Gojo gets locked away in the box, that's when shit changes. All of these variants of Gojo are before he's locked in the box, so of course all these versions of Gojo are gonna be the ones that pull up and, you know, absolutely change the state of the game. Because Gojo literally tips the scales of the Jujutsu world. When he wasn't there, everybody was trying to do a bunch of fuckery. When he was born, that was enough for everybody to stop the fuckery. So Gojo for a while is going to be ripping the game apart whenever he comes out. So definitely summon for this green Gojo. You will be needing him. Mai is it says obstructor, but she supports, I think, right? If own HP is 60% or below, grants evasion status itself for 2 turns. That's fire. So get her below a certain point of health, and she can literally dodge for 2 turns, guaranteed. Fire. This right here, this is so funny because I remember this. This is the move where she swings her broom and it sends a gust, and or tailwind, right? And I remember she actually did this against Geto in the anime during the end of season 2. And this man Geto literally like slapped, or I'm sorry, Kenjaku literally slapped it away with his hand. And then Momo was like, bro, one-handed for real? I'm just like, yo, Shardy, there's no way you believe you were going to do something to that man with that gust of wind. Deals 150.4% range Jujutsu damage to a selected enemy. Increases the selected enemy's damage received. Okay. So, this doesn't matter. Ooh, but it says for 2 turns, 3 times. So, I think that means you can stack it up to 3 times. When it says 1 time, I think it means you can only do it once and it doesn't stack. When it says 3 times like this, I believe that means you can stack it 3 times. Tailwind. Increases all allies damage by 68.7%. Increases all allies break damage by 20.0%. That's really good, actually. Just a straight up fire buff for your entire team. Whoa! Increases all allies critical hit rate by... oh, hold on. Level 10. Increases all allies critical hit rate by 45.1%. Increases all allies critical hit damage by 30%. Decreases all enemies critical hit resistance by 30%. She's a menace. She's an absolute menace. Guys, I know I've read a lot of crazy characters in this list so far. She's the most excited. She's the one I'm most excited to pick up because I'm just like, bruh, what? Just all these free buffs. They're big. Bruh, that's nearly 50% crit hit rate. That's 30% crit damage. And honestly, these characters already be boosting their own crit rate and shit like that. So like, probably a guaranteed crit at that point with bigger damage. And it is definitely a guaranteed crit because she's lowering their critical hit resistance as well. Goodness. Level 10. Her ultimate. Deals 800 damage, Jujutsu damage to all enemies. I'm just gonna start saying what is closest to in the hundreds. Decrease the enemies, select the enemy's ultimate count gauge by 1, and then a 90.5% chance to stun all enemies. I revisit level 10 because that's what you want to strive for. Of course, level 10 is going to be a little difficult to get to, but still what you want to strive for. Increases own and combo allies Jujutsu damage by 20% for 3 turns, then deals 100% range Jujutsu. She has no extra passes or anything like that. It's so weird that some characters have like those main passes and some don't. But no, I think I'm most excited on this list for Yuta just because I never had him. But like, if I had to choose a second place, it'd probably be Momo. Next up is Tojii. Yeah, Tojii is all taijutsu. Tojii is an absolute menace. Taijutsu characters, heavily restriction characters, not taijutsu. Heavily restriction characters are nice to have because all their skills are free. They never cost any cursed energy or anything like that. Obviously, you still have to build up to your ultimate gauge, but everything else is clear selling, easy peasy. I actually have Tojii on the Japanese version, so I've actually used him and I actually enjoy him quite a bit. 298% or 300% taijutsu damage to an enemy. Decreases the selected enemy's critical hit resistance by 23%, basically. This one is 500 taijutsu damage to a single enemy, and this skill nullifies any reduced damage received effects. Okay, that makes sense because I would say this skill does hit really hard. Actually, I never knew why. Increases own break damage by 170% for once. Removes attack nullification and 1 removable buff from the enemy. So from the selected enemy, yeah, getting rid of Gojo's infinity basically, or working your way around it. Recent buffs are prioritized, or hey, Gojo didn't know about infinity at that point. I'm reading this at the wrong level. 255 increase to break damage, which is even more evil. And then deals 195% taijutsu damage to selected enemy. Then I believe his ultimate is AoE? Yes. Removes attack nullification and 1 removable buff from all enemies, and then deals 1600 damage taijutsu to all enemies. Increases own and the combo allies taijutsu by 10% for 3 turns, and then so I think all of them just deal 100% ranged, whatever, right? Taijutsu, Jujutsu, whichever one. Physically gifted. At the start of battle, increases own taijutsu damage by 50%, recovers HP by 3.5%, every turn reduces own damage received by 15%, evades single target attacks with a 20% chance, grants guaranteed hit immunity to self, cannot be targeted by some skills and statuses. When critical hits are performed, grants guaranteed hit status to self, 50% chance. Activates on the next skill used. I think I'm getting my edge back now. When a critical hit is performed, increases own taijutsu by 15% for 3 turns, cannot stack. Odd that it says cannot stack. Actually, no. Yeah, it just can't be stacked at all. But shouldn't it just say 1 turn? That implies that if you had a 1 turn buff, but you could somehow cheese multiple turns on the same character, you could stack it that way, I guess, maybe. But I guess this is letting you know that even if you had some way to do that, it wouldn't matter because you can't stack this, so don't try it. While the previous effect is activated, when a critical hit is performed, increase on taijutsu by 25% for 3 turns. If the 25% taijutsu damage buff is activated, it removes the 15%. Okay. So you don't have 40% altogether. If you get up to the 25%, this is going. But guys, I don't even really think I have to explain this man. Did you hear the damage that he's doing whenever I was reading through this? This man can remove attack nullification. This man can remove damage reduced. This man can remove buffs. This man does big damage. This man, like, bro, and he has an AoE on his ultimate too. That's just a nice little touch. Like, his single target damage is so intense that it actually doesn't matter. He's mainly all single target. But like the fact that he has an ultimate that's AoE does help. Definitely picking up another copy of Tojii. I had so much fun with that man when I got him. And then lastly is this Gojo right here. I consider this to be the best Gojo in the game just because he does not leave after an ultimate. He does not leave after 7 turns. None of that shit. He's just always there. When critical hit is performed, increases own damage. Cool. Skill 1. Deals melee combined damage equal to 208% of taijutsu, 158% of jujutsu. Attracts the selected enemy to attack him. It's a 35% chance of him to taunt, basically. Fills ultimate skill gauge more than other skills. Okay. Then, this fills his ultimate skill gauge the most out of all his skills, is what it's saying. Limitless curse technique. Grants attack immunity to self for 3 turns. Increases own damage received by 30% for 3 turns. Increases own damage received? What? Oh, because he nullifies attack. I guess it's like a... That's dumb, though. If he nullifies attack, why even do this? In case somebody can nullify attack reduction and it would be balanced? I don't know. Increases own jujutsu damage, special, by 5% for 5 turns. While increase on jujutsu damage special is active, changes skill into curse technique disclosure. Increases own damage by 80% for 4 turns, and increases own critical hit rate by 30% for 4 turns. So, if he increases his own jujutsu damage special, if he has that buff, this changes to an attack buff or a damage buffing skill versus a defense skill. Okay. Limitless conversions. Level 10. Deals 433% range jujutsu damage to an enemy. Decreases the selected enemy's damage by 30%. Okay. And then this one is still in AoE. Ultimate curse technique laps maximum cursed energy output blue. Deals 15.03% or 15.03.7% range jujutsu damage to all enemies. He increases him and his allies' crit hit damage by 15% for 4 turns. And let's see. Limitless curse technique. At the start of battle, grants attack immunity to self for 2 turns, increases own damage received by 30%, and increases on jujutsu damage special by 5% for 4 turns. So he gives himself this buff at the start of the fight, which means that this should be this at the start of the fight instead of this top half. But Gojo, like I said, I only consider him the best Gojo though because all the Gojos have wonky ass damage. That is for certain. I've seen all of them. I've used all of them. So having crazy damage is just a Gojo staple. That's always going to be the case with this man. But what changes is how free you are to use him. This Gojo, you are the freest to use because you can use his ultimate. You can waste 7 turns. He'll still be there for you. The blue Gojo is the second most free Gojo because his only thing is he's going after 7 turns. The green one is the least free Gojo because he has a crazy ass move like Hollow Purple. So to limit that, they made sure that whether you use his ultimate or get to 7 turns, he's gone. He's out of there because just having a Hollow Purple just lurking around at your own discretion is absolutely evil. But guys, that is it for my characters who you should be saving for. I hope that you guys did enjoy that. That is your boy DEADMANVINCE. I gotta record another video before I go back to work. Bye. Hollow Purple.